Now a cowboy needs a hat, needs a hat, needs a hat. And the fairy fancy boots, fancy boots.
Oh, we're gonna break everything.
Oh God.
Oh no, Ida. And Piccolo.
And Pookadoo.
And you shut up.
Hi guys.
Hello.
How's it going? Today we have a fun little video that I thought you guys might enjoy watching, which would be
What?
JB guesses what books are about based on the book cover. Woo!
Oh. Okay.
I'm going to hand him 10 different books, and he's going to look at the name of the book without reading any text other than the title, and tell me, based on that and the cover, what he thinks the book is about.
So I'm not allowed, so I need to keep myself, even if like on this book I'm looking at right now, there's little things talking about like little...
Yeah, I wouldn't look at anything other than the title, and I guess the author, and the cover.
I don't know authors that well.
Yeah, but...
I don't know them enough to...
Yeah,
make
but sometimes
judges.
you can make assumptions based on things. That's pretty much what this is going to be, and I'm going to like tell you the correct answer after he's done guessing. Number 1, are you excited?
I'm so excited.
Are you really?
I'm about to explode.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna explode!
So the first book I have here is The Loop.
The Loop!
You're free to hold it, look at it. You can flip it over, just don't read a synopsis.
Yeah, I don't need to flip it over.
So we have here, this is
The Loop.
The Loop.
So I gotta make a guess about what
do you
this
think
is.
this is about?
Okay. The Loop is about a young couple. It's about a young couple, and the boy has always wanted to go and drive on the Autobahn in Germany, where there's no speed limits.
Okay.
Right? It's like he's always wanted to drive on a road that doesn't have speed limits. So they go, they buy their plane tickets, they rent like the nicest car, and of course you got to get that insurance when you rent a car. So they go to the Autobahn and they find an off-road, and the girl's like, I gotta pee or something, so they're like, they have to find somewhere, so they end up taking this off-road, but it ends up having a loop.
Okay.
It loops. And the guy's like, I've never seen a loop on an actual like
Kinda
road
like a Hot
before.
Wheels.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I'm gonna do this loop. And she's like, don't do it. I gotta pee. I wanna pee myself. And so he does the loop. It sends them back in time.
Wow.
And when it sends them back in time, it becomes a whole paradox of things where they have to like avoid themselves, or it could like destroy the world, like, you know, time and space melting in on itself.
Okay, so some science fiction.
Right, so it has a double meaning, because it's like, it's a loop because there's a physical loop in the road, and then it's also a time loop that it's going through, and so they have to find their way out of the paradox, out of the time loop.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Totally off. Not even close.
Okay.
But I like the idea. Someone can take that and write the book.
Yeah.
This book is called The Loop by Jeremy Robert Johnson. It is a science fiction kind of post-apocalyptic world where these teenagers who have no idea what's going on, they go to a party in a cave. This radio type signal, which you can tell from the little screelies, that is interfering with certain teens' heads and makes them go crazy and start biting and killing people and like ripping them apart, and just the urge to murder. And so we're following this group of like 3 or 4 teens who are escaping it and figuring out what's going on, and it's government related, and totally off. I gave it 4 stars. It's pretty good.
Okay.
The next book is The Dark Game by Jonathan Jans. This is an arc I have, so take a look.
Okay, The Dark Game. I see a man standing in front of a house. It's by Jonathan Jans. I like that name. Jonathan Jans. And it's an advanced reading copy. I am going to say that it's about a group of... It's a horror story, so of course horror stories are going to be about a group of young, sexy teens. Okay. So this group of young, sexy teens, they get their uncle's cabin or something for the weekend. They're going to go party, and it's out in the woods, right? And so what do young, sexy teens do whenever they get alone and start drinking and have fun over the weekend. They start playing hide and seek.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So they play hide and seek, but then they realize it's too easy because they're confined to this house and all the lights are on. They're like, I can see you right there. The lights are on.
Yeah.
So because they're dumb, because they're teens.
They're dumb kids. Yeah.
Dumb teens that have been drinking too much. Instead of turning the lights off, they're going to go play in the woods.
Oh.
They're going to go play in the woods because it's dark and there's a lot of room. So it makes it much more challenging, right? Of course, you got your cliche sexy girl, and they start getting busy, and then they get murdered, right? So there's a murderer out in the woods. Not only have to find out that there's a murderer, they have to, everyone's disorganized because they're all hiding, and they're supposed to be playing hide and seek. Mm-hmm. So it's a very challenging game and a very dark game because it's outside in the middle of the night. First, find out that they're in danger, and then get out of said danger.
Yeah. Okay. Once again, not even close. but I like your effort. I would read the heck out of that.
Yeah.
Teen slashers, that's my this is about a group of 10 to 12 authors who go to stay in this big haunted house that's owned by this millionaire author who promises to give them everything they could ever dream of, like a career in writing tons of books and just acclaim if they survive the night in this house.
It's one of those survive the night.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, but he's making them all write. It might not be just one night, but he makes them stay a certain amount of time and they have to write while they're there. So he's also critiquing them and everything. And he's kind of a jerk, and a lot of people have super dark, awful, gross, disgusting pasts. And you're learning about each author and what they've done. And he calls them there because they've done this thing to also punish them in a way. It gets very gross. This is a very typical nasty kind of horror where a lot of people won't like it because it talks about, pedophilia and rape and murder and things like that, killing your husband or whatever. And so it's not for everyone if you like horror, but I enjoyed it. And Jonathan Jans is a very nice man on Instagram at least, so I recommend it. I gave it 4 stars. The next book is Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey.
All right, Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey. All right, I see a ladder, and I see she's short and he's tall. Oh my gosh. And there's a ladder and it says Fix Her Up. And it's purple. So if I had to guess, I would say there is a girl who always wanted to be the tomboy. She didn't want to do girl stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So she grew up wanting to be a tomboy. And what do tomboys have? Tree houses.
Okay.
Right? So she wants a tree house, but she's too old now. She's got a career. She's got stuff going on. She's got family obligations, and she's not married or anything, but her mom gripes on her even though she's in her 30s now.
Yeah.
And it's this man comes along, teaches her about love and self-respect and getting her independence from her mother. What's the big shebang at the end of the book is that he builds her a tree house.
Oh,
right. So that's
it's a romance.
It's a romance.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a romance about Carpenter that's fixing her up.
Oh,
in a tree house.
Yeah.
In a tree house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I think.
That's really cute. I like that idea. You're not 100% off on this one.
Okay.
Okay, it is a romance, obviously. You can tell by just the colors and the title and everything. This is a book about a girl who is, I guess she's actually younger, more of a new adult, 25 maybe. And she is a clown. That is her job.
Okay.
And no one takes her seriously. And she has, I think it's her brother's friend is this guy. He is super badass. He used to play baseball. Everybody said he had a big old
Swangin'.
Yeah, they called him Dope Two Bat or something. I don't know. But he's well known.
Too bad.
He can't play anymore because of an injury or something. But
it's probably because he's swinging the wrong bat. Those things come at 90 miles an hour. You're swinging the wrong bat. You could end up in the hospital.
He's out of commission, and Hermie, stop it. The cat's playing with a bag. So he's out of commission, and he comes back to town because his old house is there and everything. They end up having a fake dating trope kind of thing, which is a big thing in romance. Mm-hmm. And she dates him because it will, I guess, make her career better. I can't Oh, yeah. It's going to make her look more serious. Mm-hmm. And then he's dating her because he's trying to get back into, like, a sports commentating career. And he's been in trouble a lot because he's, like, a bad boy. And so he's trying to look like he's more serious so that he gets that job.
Okay.
And so it's just them falling in love and some smexy times happening. And there's a little bit of drama thrown in there, you know, like a typical romance where they have something happen. But that's pretty much it. It's like he's in construction. So that's what the whole fix-her-up thing is.
Okay.
And she needs things fixed in her house or something, and he's offering to help her.
Okay. So I was close.
Yeah, you're pretty close.
No. I love clown smexy time. That's fun.
Yeah, I like that she's a clown. Like, she's funny.
Does she have like
squeaky boots?
Squeaky toys?
No, but she does like parties and stuff, and it's really cute.
Okay.
The next book I have here is The Wife Between Us by Sarah Pekkanen, or Pekkanen, however you say it, and Greer Hendricks.
Well, if I was just going off of the name, I would have a much different idea about this book. But looking at the cover, it's definitely not like romantic or like smexy. It's actually kind of funny if you look at it because of if you consider it like there's that woman, then there's a woman looking that way, and if you are the third person in this scenario, the person looking at the book, then the wife between us is this lady right here. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
The wife between us, very blue. Blue means sad. You know, it's like Picasso when he had his blue period. And then you have these bright yellow letters. The wife between us. They're not very fun. They're very straightforward. It's a New York Times bestseller. It's a novel. It is about a couple of dudes, just a couple of bros, right? Mm-hmm. And they are going to start their own content creator on GoTube because they can't use YouTube in the book for copyright reasons. So they're going to start this career. One of the dudes has a wife, and she doesn't like how much time they're spending together. So it's kind of going against everything I said about the blue. It's kind of it fakes you out, right? It makes you think it's going to be sad and somber and everything, but it ends up being a rom-com because it's about the girl doesn't want her man to hang out so much time with his bro. Yeah. She wants some of the attention, jealous. And then the bro gets jealous, so it's kind of a cold war between the wife and the friend, and how much time they're spending with each other. They kind of sabotage each other.
Yeah.
He throws in like a red sweater with her whites, and you know, just like really petty stuff.
Yeah.
You know? She serves him something with like too much pepper. I'm being very misogynist. Doing laundry and cooking. Yeah, it's kind of a rom-com about, you know, like their struggle of wanting time of the main man characters. Okay. That's what I think.
Okay. Well, this is a thriller. The Wife Between Us is about this woman who you are kind of not told at the beginning that there's a lot of unreliable narration going on in this. We're following a woman who is watching her ex-husband with another woman. And she's kind of stalking them, and her life is in shambles. Like, she's living by herself or with her grandmother. She's living with her grandmother, and her grandmother's worried about her because her life's falling apart. She's not taking care of herself. She's about to lose her job because she's late every day and just not clean. And she's just obsessively watching this man with his new wife. And you go through this whole book, just her finding out things about their past. You're going back and forth between the new woman and her. So back and forth you're going. And then you find out later, spoiler, that they're the same person.
Oh.
She is...
It's a fight club thing.
Kind of, yeah. She ruined her life with this man, and now she's like just really creepy, stalky. And there's like a weird relationship between the man and his sister that I never fully got. I think it's like incestual, but they never fully said that. The ending's kind of unclear, but it was fun. Yeah. I enjoyed it. It's just an obsessive woman. The next book I have here is Where the Woods End by Charlotte Salter.
Where the Woods End! We have a lady who seems to be dressed in definitely like organic clothing. Yeah. It's not like synthetic.
Like she found it.
Yeah, like she made it out of animal parts. Like she's even got the scarf of the weasel or something. I don't know what that is. But and then there's a big black monster, and then there's like woods and mushrooms and stuff. Basically, I'm gonna be a little more realistic with this one. I think this one would be about a girl who discovers like the conflict in the movie is that she wants to go and explore, but something is pulling her to like go out in the woods.
Yeah.
But there's like monsters and stuff that keep her from going out in the woods. So what the twist of the book is that there's a city, like this is taking place in our world, and it's just some like native cult out, not cult, but tribe, like out in the middle of the woods that just, most of them don't know that this world exists, but like the people who lead that tribe set up these monsters and stuff to keep people from going out in the woods to not find out that this world exists, like to keep control of them and their little tribe.
To keep them isolated.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's also the plot of what's that movie called? M. Night Shyamalan. That's why I was trying to think of something, but it's like looking at that cover, that's what I think.
Yeah, I
so
get that.
I don't know.
Yeah, you can see right here. This is a middle grade, so that is a young girl.
Okay.
And she lives in this, it is kind of an isolated forest that they can't find their way out of, but it's real people who got trapped there and they cannot figure out how to get out. And what happens is this little weasel is her friend. It's some mythical creature combination that doesn't exist.
Okay.
And that's her little animal companion who helps her out. She kills these creatures. What are they called again? They're called grabbers, and they will stalk one person to a certain point, and then they will eat them. They will steal their objects, and people are like, why is this missing? And they start realizing, hey, my grabber is forming its body, because they form their body out of that person's favorite objects. And then they kill them eventually. So everybody's living on paranoia. You just kind of are waiting to be eaten. And she finds the grabbers and kills them.
Oh.
So her mom is like this evil witch who like forces her to do this. And there's a lot of things going on from her past in a very scary book for a middle grade. And she ends up, getting her own grabber, and she has to face that monster. Her dad shows up and has a grabber. And the mom's a bad guy, pretty much. And you find out a lot of secrets. And it's just her having friends and fighting and learning a lot about her past and meeting all these cool magical creatures.
That sounds fun.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Paid $1 for it.
Oh, wow.
All right, next up we have Summer of Salt by Katrina Leno.
Summer of Salt. Okay, well, just based off of looking at it, the Summer of Salt, and they're standing in front of an ocean, is salt. It's the summer of the ocean, right? They're hanging out at a beach for a summer. And just based off of looking at the title, I think it would be a story of self-discovery, finding out that you like ladies. Yeah.
Getting some sapphic vibes.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, based off of the yellow scarf, maybe they solve mystery together. Solve a mystery together. Yeah. Right.
You think it's like a contemporary, just slice of lifey kind of story? Is that why you're not having a lot of?
Yeah. I'm not getting a lot of vibes of like any specific things. It just looks like, oh, I'm hung out at the beach with my friend from high school, and then by the end of the summer, we were more than friends.
Okay, that's not too bad. This is like one of my favorite books now.
Okay.
This is a story about two sisters. You're not wrong, though.
Okay.
It keeps going. These two sisters who are in a family who the women are magical. They don't say the word witch, but pretty much they're all witches. And they all have some very specific power. Like one of the sisters starts floating. And so she thinks that eventually she'll be able to fly. Mm-hmm. But at the moment, she just kind of floats. And she can jump down like 3-story buildings and stuff like that. So that's one sister. The other sister is our main character that we're following. And she hasn't had a power yet. And I think by like her 16th or 18th birthday, she's supposed to have one, or she's not getting one. And she hasn't gotten it yet. And they've only had one other person in their family not have powers. So she's trying to figure out, what's my power? There is definitely a trigger warning in this for rape, and it turns very dark. There's this magical bird that comes to this same town. It's like a coastal town. And the bird is never been seen before by anyone else, and these like travelers and tourists come and see the bird every year, and one year it doesn't show up. Her sister is kind of connected to this bird in a way, and you find out there's a bad character that raped and the connections that the bird has to the sisters, and the main girl is gay. She has this tourist girl come and they fall in love.
Oh.
So there's like a little mini love story going on there too.
Okay.
So it's a beautiful story. I literally read this in like one sitting when I did read it. Highly recommend it. But you're not too far off on that. It is very slice of life. So the next book, it's called Never Have I Ever by Jocelyn Jackson. I just got a copy of this, so I'm very excited.
Never have I ever read this book. It is a novel. It's very purple. It seems to be focusing in on a specific house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Based off of this cover, I would guess it would be a group of friends that play Never Have I Ever in this specific house, and then some truths. Some truths come out during that game. Emotions are poured out based off of those truths of that game, and then it all revolves back to this house. This house is like the center focal point of this story. Like, it does go away from it and follow different characters, but then it all comes back to, boom, this house with the words "a novel" on it.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's not just on the cover. That's like how
On the house.
That's on the house. Yes.
How the house is made.
Yes, someone went up there with white paint and wrote a novel on the. So
it's not a house. It's a novel.
Yes, it's a novel house. And when planes are flying over, they're like, "The hell is that?" Never Have I Ever. It's a very emotional roller coaster based off of friends finding truths out about each other.
It's a drama.
Yeah, it's a drama.
Okay. It is based off the game Never Have I Ever.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thriller, and it's about these rich women who all get together for like a book club. And one day, this new woman gets invited to the book club in the neighborhood, and she's real beautiful and sexy and kind of younger than them just a little bit. And she stirs up trouble because she doesn't want to talk about the book. She wants to start drama. And she asks them to play Never Have I Ever. And so she finds out some secrets about our main character that she doesn't want anyone to know. And she threatens her and like wants money and blackmails her. And she does this with apparently several other people in the group, and you find that out later. And she's even, some people might not like this about the book, she's even blackmailing one of the characters who is married, but she finds out is gay. And so the bad woman has this son, and you're finding out a lot about him because our main character's daughter's falling in love with him, and you're trying to figure out like, why is their relationship so strange? Like, she's awfully very close to this boy, like weird close, and it gets very pedophilic. He's not like a baby, but he is like a teenage boy. And you find out that she's got her own secrets, and she's a criminal, and it's not really her son. Surprise, surprise. And yeah, that's all I'm going to spoil for this, but it's a thriller, and it's got a lot of scuba kind of stuff in it, which is really fun to learn about because she did like research to do this. But
I took a scuba diving class at the W. Yeah.
Fun. Next, I have Elevation by Stephen King.
Elevate. This is easy. Look at this. Easy. What do you think it's about? I'll tell you what it's about. It's about people on Earth. A phenomenon starts happening where people just get lifted to heaven. They just elevate through the atmosphere. They're just gone. Off Earth. And it's not like it happens immediately, but they just start lifting up, and then they just don't stop, and they just go. Right?
Yeah.
So this starts happening, and then it starts happening more and more and more, right? So the world is torn about what this means. Some people think it's like these people, it's like they're being lifted off to space, they're dying, there's no oxygen, right? Like, this is a phenomenon, we got to figure out what it is and stop it.
Yeah.
Other people are like jealous because they think that it's the rapture. So they think that these people are going to heaven and they're being left behind. So they are sinners and they're feeling mournful and they don't know how to deal with it. And so this centers around a scientist that is trying to deal with this phenomenon and trying to find the answer while also having to answer as like the head authority on this. So he's like issued by the government. He is what Dr. Fauci is to the COVID pandemic to this.
Yeah.
So people are like coming at him, and he's getting all these. He's having to deal with the press and the pressure and so many different sides of it. Like, can't you see that this is God doing his thing, you know? And then other people like, what can we do to stop, you know? So he's having to deal with all these different pressures, and then eventually he does figure it out, but he can't stop it. So that's the book.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was really hoping Stephen King would throw you off.
Oh, really?
Because he's the author.
Yeah.
And even though it's not horror, this is in the horror genre. Everything Stephen King writes is thrown in the horror genre. Don't believe it.
Yeah.
This is a fantasy novel, but based in like contemporary times, where you're following this older man who's probably like, I think he's in like in his 50s or 60s, I can't remember. But he all of a sudden starts losing weight, but not losing mass.
Weird.
So he's like not gaining any weight or anything, but he just gets lighter and lighter. And he's not losing any weight physically looking, and he just gets lighter and lighter.
He's not losing any mass.
And he has this old doctor friend that's no longer a doctor practicing, but he goes and confides in him because he doesn't want to go to an official doctor and then send him to like a government facility because he knows this is weird. So he goes to his friend doctor and says, hey, I think I'm losing weight. Can you test this for me? So he comes back week after week, and he is indeed rapidly losing weight.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know, by this time in like the next month, you'll be nothing.
Floating.
Like you'll literally be floating. And so at first he freaks out a little bit, but then he's like coming to terms with it. And he's like, you know, that's okay. You know, I'll just be a good person till then and live with it. And he meets this lesbian couple who are like, you know, don't like him at first because he's a white dude. Mm-hmm. And then they learn to like become friends with him and everything. And it's just kind of like a story about this man just kind of changing people's lives a little bit and trying to do something good. He does kind of have a little bit of the white savior complex, but not too bad. But it's just a really cool story about him making friends and people waving goodbye when he eventually starts floating.
Why doesn't he just stay in the house? Like you could just live on the ceiling. Like you'd just be like, what's up?
I think that they kind of asked that question at some point, but I don't remember the answer.
Okay.
I think he was just kind of ready.
Okay.
In a way. But yeah, it's about...
Like, I'm just going to float away?
Yeah, it's just about a man who floats, and then they have like a big send-off for him, so...
Okay. Well, I like mine better.
It was very interesting. I would like that. The next book, next to last, is called Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn.
Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn.
I don't know if it's Gillian or Jillian. I don't know.
It's a New York Times bestseller from the author of the #1 New York Times bestseller, Gone Girl, right? Mm-hmm. So this is in the Gone Girl universe, right?
Oh.
So you kind of have to know Gone Girl to know what's going on with Sharp Objects. And this is where I will catch you up.
Yeah.
On Gone Girl, because Gone Girl is actually a part of the Elevation universe.
Holy crap.
Because
even though they're separate authors?
Yes. Because Gone Girl is called Gone Girl because she's floating away. Alright?
Yeah.
So Sharp Objects is a book where they figure out how to keep them from floating by throwing sharp objects at them.
Where are they throwing the sharp objects at?
The people floating.
I like balloons or something. Oh my god. Okay, I'm feeling it.
Yeah, that's what I think.
That's all?
It's just a collection of short stories about people being like, oh, my cousin's floating. And
I like it. Truly unique, and I think that would be an interesting idea for authors to write co-mingling stories like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever heard of that.
I mean, I guess the closest I've heard of it is like the SCP.
Yeah, but that's like a fan thing.
Yeah, it's just like an idea and all these people throw in.
Well, Sharp Objects is not at all connected to the Stephen King story Elevation. Sadly. That would be really fun, though. It is also not a short story collection. It is a thriller that I honestly didn't love. It's by the same person who wrote Gone Girl, and Gone Girl was totally separate.
Yeah.
And what happens is there's this woman who is a journalist, like in Chicago, and her hometown, way somewhere else, like small town, starts having all these random young girls be murdered. And so her boss says, hey, for no reason, even though this is not happening in Chicago, I want you to go back home and try to figure out the scoop. and tell him what's going on so that they get more sales because they're having trouble. And so she does this. No one wants to talk to her. No one wants to pretend anything's happening. They don't like her. And her mom is like super rich and has this new husband, and she does a lot of self-harm to herself. The main character is a lot of cutting, a lot of self-hatred here. She finds out who's killing all the kids and why, and there's a lot of creepy teenage girls in this town that are like 12 or 13 but acting like 19-year-old. Like, I know there's a TV show on Netflix of this and I haven't watched it, but based on how young the girls were, I was weirded out because no one seemed to notice how creepy it was that these really little girls were acting this way. And I was just weirded out that they were the age they were.
Was it called Cuties?
No. It was really strange. And there's a lot of Munchausen's by proxy going on in here. So if that's something you're interested in reading or triggered to, just be aware of it. Very, very cutty and dark, but not my favorite. There's a romance in there for no reason that I don't care about. Decent book.
Alrighty.
And the last book that we're going to look at here is called Bone Man's Daughters by Ted Dekker.
Ted Dekker. Let me tell you about Ted Dekker. More importantly, let me tell you about Bone Man's Daughter. All right, this is a thriller, and it all takes place in this barn. As you can see, there's a barn on the cover. It's very red. The crows are circling overhead. Right. So this is about a daughter of a man, and the man is the Bone Man.
Oh. Okay.
The Bone Man is the father of the Bone Man's daughter.
Okay.
All right? You
so
got
it's
me?
about this girl and her dad.
Yes. Well, kind of. The father is called the Bone Man because he teaches, he has a very special way of teaching dogs.
Okay.
He does it all in this barn, right? Mm-hmm. So he has this barn is full of dogs, and he has a very special way of training them, and he has this bone. And like, he can throw the bone, or he can hold the bone and do different gestures with it, and it'll make the dogs do different things. So he has control over all these dogs.
Inducting them with bones.
Right. And then that's why he's called the Bone Man.
Okay.
And then he's a serial killer, so he lures these people into like isolated areas, and then he's like, bone, and then he's like, and then dogs just appear out of nowhere, and then dogs tear these guys apart, right? Ooh. So it's like whenever the cops find out, they're like, it was just a vicious animal attack, right? Mm-hmm. There's no humans involved, but in fact, it was the Bone Man. Mm. Now, the thing is, this story takes place from different perspectives. Okay. Sometimes the first half of the book, it takes place between the Bone Man and the detective that's trying to figure out. He's seeing the links. It's like, there can't be all these. Where are these dogs coming from? Yeah. Like, this is unordinary. Everyone else is just like, oh, it's just a pack of dogs. We just got to keep an eye out for dogs. Yeah. But he's just like, no, there's more to this. Yeah. Right? He's figuring it out. And then eventually he does track down and kill the Bone Man. Mm. But that's where the Bone Man's daughter comes in and takes up the Bone Man's mantle and continues on.
Copycat killer.
Yeah, and then she becomes the Bone Lady, and continues his legacy, right?
Wow.
And then who wins? Is it the Bone Man's daughter or the detective? You have to read to find out.
I like this idea.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's really fun, but it's not at all true.
Oh, damn it.
This is I guess it's a thriller. It could be a horror thriller, mystery kind of thing. You are following this veteran. I forget which war he was in, but he's effed up. His whole family's screwed over because he didn't care about them, and he just left to go to war and said, F y'all, I'm out. He has a daughter and a wife, and his wife has already remarried, and his daughter is not giving an F about life and kind of just wants to leave and be herself and be a whatever. So they're all estranged, and he is being accused of being this serial killer that everyone knows about called the Bone Man. The Bone Man will remove your bones while you're alive, and eventually it kills you.
The only bones I can think of that you absolutely need would be like your spine.
He's either, okay, I could be wrong. It's been a little while. He either breaks all of their bones or he removes them. I think he breaks them, actually.
Okay.
So he slowly breaks all of your bones.
Nice.
Either way, same concept. The daughter gets captured by the serial killer.
In your skull.
Yeah. And the dad is trying to save her. So this dad, who the daughter doesn't even like anymore, is trying to save his daughter. And he has like flashbacks and is traumatized because he was tortured during war. and the cops think that he is the mole man because he's like doing some really sus stuff. It gives you perspective from him, the wife and daughter, and the husband. So you get like the killer, the savior, and the victims. And some people die. There's a lot of blood and gore in here. Other women are murdered and killed, and there's descriptive things of that. It's just a really fun trying to catch the man doing it. You know, it feels like a Criminal Minds episode, but like, you know, more fleshed out. And you find out that, you know, sometimes you should just forgive each other. And, you know, if your dad goes through hell to save you, that's pretty cool.
Even though he's the one that's killing people? Like
No, the dad's saving her from the dude who's doing it.
Okay,
They're
gotcha.
3 separate people.
Okay, gotcha.
So, yeah, it's just a fun little whodunit kind
Cool.
of thing. Thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed it. How did you have? Did you have fun?
Yeah, of course. I love that kind of stuff. I love
Yeah.
improvisation
Yeah.
and stuff. I took a few improv classes in college, and that's always really fun to me. It kind of reminds me of the monologue game, where they just give you a subject and you have to like
Create a story.
create a monologue based off of it.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, so I enjoyed it. I thought it was
Good.
fun.
Well, if you guys like this, I might do a manga version,
Oh God.
which sounds really fun.
They have to have English. You can't come at me with like Kime Agage, and I'm like, I have no idea.
Well, it's based off the cover too,
Yeah.
you know, so you can tell by context clues, kind of at least the genre.
Okay.
If it's like action or romance or murder, you know, those kind of things.
Right.
So I think that would be really fun. If you guys are interested in that, let me know in the comments. I think that would be really fun. And I've had a ton of fun. Thank you so much for helping me.
Of course.
You're the best. And hope you guys will subscribe. Let me know by giving this video a thumbs up if you want more. And we'll see you very soon.
Peace.
Bye, guys.